Hello guys and welcome back. Finally this is here. I'm proud to present the 1 year long material price with. This is by far my longest project ever, 365 days of spreadsheet filling. Just to let you know how much work this was, take a look at this spreadsheet. Numbers and numbers everywhere. There are a total of 36 materials in the game. Multiply this by 365, over 13,000 of data, starting from 2020 January and going till 2021 January. Here one line means one day, so every single day I had to type the prices manually one by one. Luckily I got help on those days when I was not close to my PC, thank you Stans for those. But anyway, you could ask me, why did you do this torture to yourself? Yeah, good point. I did for two things. First was curiosity, and second I needed data for future solo farm vids. Going to do a ranking for the best available spots for profit. So I've had one top 5 video in the past, but that kind of sucks, and I want to do a more precise, better one with a lot more spots. At the moment I'm thinking of 25, we will see. I have many completed already, you can see some here at the worksheets, and I have uploaded some of them already. After this little background story, let's jump to the charts. Similarly to the previous two material vids, the big events are marked at the diagrams, and there is a short animation too. Important guys, I'm just guessing when I try to explain the trends. Don't have to agree with me, this is quite complex thing, many factors can change the prices in Guild Wars. Okay, let's start with Actos maybe, still the most sought after material of all I guess. Everything was normal till the anniversary event, then something radically changed and Actos skyrocketed to never seen heights. When we thought this was over, they went even higher after Halloween and somehow dropped around Winter's Day. Probably many people came back around April, the game had a jubilee, 15 years old, new elite skills came out, so the demand for Actos increased. Some people believe there was bots selling Actos and keeping their price artificially low, but the last ban wave got rid of them. This could also explain the trend. And what about obsidian shards? Do they follow Actos trend? After all, people need them too, and many returning players want some new fancy armors. Perhaps not as quickly as Actos, but shards showed the same behavior. They had a peak around Halloween as well. Alright, I'm gonna say a few words about every remaining material. Let's see what happened with those. Common materials first. They are sold in packages of 10, that's why you see the chart title like that. Bones were very expensive at the beginning of the year, then went back to the usual 100-200 range. Moving on, iron ingots. This is interesting, their peak was in mid-year, no idea why. 10 height squares now, looks quite stable honestly, had some valleys, but was at 100 golds many times. Scales. This shows similarity to iron, peak during the summer, look at the jumps, one day like 100, next day like 200 or 300, very unstable. Kitten shows not much surprise, I wonder who buys them at all. Bolt of cloth was very stable for 3/4 of the year, then something went crazy around Christmas. By the way, if the graph is linear, it means no change in price, every day the same. Wood planks, perhaps the most stable of all materials. We will see, I'm gonna show you some comparisons at the end. Granite slabs, this is like crazy, who knows why. Piles of glittering dust, had a low point in August-September, jumping over and under the 300-400 value. Plant fibers, this is probably the most obvious sign of the ban waves. This is a well-known fact that bots are able to farm plant fibers, and looking at this chart proves it. April came, many bots were gone and the price dropped. Of course, if the player base is bigger and they farm fibers then sell to the material traders, the price will drop. So kind of both things can modify the trend. Feathers now, it looked decent till Halloween, then started to decrease in price, no idea why. I think people don't farm more feathers during Halloween than during anniversary, never mind. So these were the common materials, now come the rare mats. First squares, they had some increase at summer, but seems to always go back and forth. Bolt of linen, I think nothing drastic is here. Bolt of damask showed a regressive trend between anniversary and Halloween. Bolt of Silk is stable, sadly. I say sadly because very easy to farm at Luxon scenes, but not worth selling. I rather salvage them to dust. Steel Ingot and Eldrimon Steel Ingots are stable as well, no big changes or valleys. Monstrous Clothes are more fun though, looks like they had a constant increase and very big spikes, meaning their price can change a lot from day to day. Monstrous Eyes had a very similar trend. I wonder why people buy them, maybe necro armors. And the last of the Monstrous family are Fangs. Rubies had a nice increase, they were very cheap in January, like 1k, then went back to the 5k, 4k territory at least. I remember when they were super expensive due to people buying Wabi armor for their Hall of Monuments. Zephyrs now, they had a nice start and kind of stopped in April and remained quite unstable for the rest of the year. Moving on, Diamonds come. This is a new type of chart, I believe, at least I don't remember any other looking like this. Everything was normal till September, then diamond prices went crazy. Remember guys, this is kind of easy to get diamonds, frequent drops from dungeon chests. Don't know what happened here, honestly. Onyx gemstones had a similar but less dramatical trend. Guess they go hand in hand with diamonds because of the dungeon chests. Lump of charcoal looks quite stable for me. The next material is tempered glass vial, not much to talk about here. Then leather squares are maybe one of the most stable rare mats of all, seeing this chart. Moving on, Elonian leather squares now, they had a couple jumps, but not that dangerous. Vial of ink is more interesting though, max value around anniversary and slowly went back to 400. Next one is roll of parchment, it looks stable. Roll of vellum though, they are chaotic as hell, this is maybe the fastest changing of all materials. Spirit foot planks are not a typical chart either. Highest value around Winter's Day, but always seems to go back to the base 100 gold. Ember chunks show a nice increasing trend, but also can change much from day to day. And finally jade shards stable till July, then went much higher, like tripled in value. So guys, this is how the chart looks together. You can compare one to another if you feel like it. And this is how the ranking of material looks like after 1 year of data. I got these values from averaging, you know, summing values and dividing by 365. Obviously Actos are number 1, shards are second and Zephyrs are third. This also shows that no common material can come close to rare materials. However, those drop more frequently and in larger quantities. If you have made this far, kudos to you guys, gratis for your attention. I haven't mentioned runes or rune prices yet, this is meant to be a standalone vid, but I lost motivation and stopped tracking prices after the materials were done. Nonetheless, this is more than 140 days of data, perhaps some of you will like this too. I'm not gonna explain anything, just leave it here and rank them by their average value. So guys, I hope you see the amount of work I have put into this project. If you did, please share this vid, give it a thumbs up or subscribe to my channel. And as always, thanks for watching and see you next time.